All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today we're going to be going over opening a banking account. Now, before we get started, um, you need to have the worksheet and you should have this paper right there. It'll say like first, second, and third attempt. Okay, you'll need that paper. Okay, so what I want you to do first, before we even start the lesson, I want you to write out a check to Big Bad Bubba. Bubba is spelled Bubba, and barbecue, BBQ. Okay. The amount you're going to put it for is $87.67. Okay. So again, $87.67. So once you filled out where it says first attempt, fill out the check. Don't ask for help. Don't be asking your mama, daddy, whoever. You know, don't be asking for help. Write out the check to Big Bad Bubba Barbecue. Okay, for $87.67. Okay, so fill it out. Okay, once you're done filling out on that first attempt, you're completely finished. It looks good to you. Okay, without looking anything on the internet, without looking anything up. Okay, put it away, just like I'm doing right now. Put it away. Okay, now take out this worksheet and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now as you probably used to, there, with the warm up picture and some of that, there is none today. There's just quotes. Okay, so like the first one says, "The lack of money is the root of all evil." That's from Mark Twain. "A rich man is nothing but a poor man with money." That's from W.C. Fields. "Money has never made man happy, nor will it. There is nothing in its nature to produce happiness. The more of it one has, the more one wants." So that was from Benjamin Franklin. "Greed is not a financial issue, it's a heart issue." That's from Andy Stanley. "A wise man should have money in his head, but not in his heart." That's from Jonathan Swift. And the last one is, "Never confuse the size of your paycheck with the size of your talent." That's from the great actor Marlon Brando. So what I want you to do is tell me which one of these like made the most sense to you. Which one of these were you just go like, yeah, that's for real. That's facts right there, you know. So you don't have to write out the whole quote, just the person's name. The quote by Mark Twain made the most sense to me. The quote by Jonathan Swift made the most sense to me, or the quote by Marlon Brando I really liked because. Okay, be sure you explain why you picked that one. Okay, so think about it. Pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in three, two, one. So remember, today's lesson is about opening up a bank account and writing checks. So, in order to create a banking account, you'll need several things. Okay. One of the things you'll need is a valid government issue photo ID. Next thing, some information: birthday, social security, tax identification number. The next thing, an initial deposit. The next thing, identification details. And possibly, depending on your situation, you may need a co owner. Okay. Now, what does it mean by valid government issued photo ID? Well, basically anything issued by the government that has your picture on it. So, like your driver's license, your state ID, those work. Your passport, that works. Now, your Costco card does not work. Your school ID does not work, you know. So, it has to be a government issued um, ID. Just can't be your Sam Club's card, some of that. Okay, no. The next thing you need is your birth date. You all should know this. I have yet to meet anyone who doesn't know their birthday. The next thing you'll need is your social security number. Okay, these are 9 numbers that were given to you at your birth. Okay, um, they're you're born with them, you'll die with them. Okay, those numbers are specifically for you. That's why when people steal other people's social security number, those people can get in real big trouble because if they other people have their number, you know, they could do things and really hurt the person's like credit, and stuff like that. Put things in their name, um, and that's why I tell students all the time. Like I told my class, those students who were in class, try to memorize your social security number. If there's any number you should memorize, it's that. You should never have your social security card in your wallet because you guys might lose it. It might get stolen. And then all of a sudden now, hey, they got your social security, they can sell it to anybody, you know? So, yeah. Now, let's say, for example, you don't have your photo ID. Something happened to it. It must have slipped out of your wallet. Let's say you forgot your social security number. Oh, geez. You know, you don't have the card either. So, the other thing you could do is use your tax identification number. Now, this is the number you get when you file your taxes and stuff like that. Guys, like I said in class, I've been doing my taxes since I was 18. I have never used my tax identification number, not even once. I don't even know what number it starts with. I could guess and guess wrong. Okay. Because the thing is, you don't really use it too much. Okay. But that's only if those other things you can't find or you don't remember. Now, an initial deposit, it doesn't have to be much. Most banks I know either say somewhere between $25 to $100. Um, some students were telling me a couple years ago that like some of their credit union banks were saying like $15. If that's the case, that's cool. That's nice. Okay. Now, um, I read this little article saying that some banks don't even ask for a deposit. Um, they didn't give any specific banks, so that's why I'm kind of iffy about that. You know, most of them do. I think almost all of them do. So, oops, dropped my phone. So, yeah, they may ask you for some money to put into your account. Again, not much, but something. Now, one of the things you can do with your account is you can have a joint account. This means two or more people join in with that account. Now, they do need to have, again, their photo ID, and have this all in their information as well. Now, what are some pros, some good things about having a joint account? Well, number one, it's the convenience. So let's say you get home, right? And you're like, oh man, I forgot to take out like 40 bucks. You may tell your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whoever, hey, on your way home, can you like go to the ATM and get like 40 bucks for me? They can do that because they have access to the account. Sometimes, you know, um, the partner might pass away, they might die. Now, if they had their own account, right, and you don't know the PIN number, you can't get that money. Okay. And the thing is, if you have a shared account, you have access to that account. So if something happens to them, you can get the money still. Okay. The next one is oversight. Basically, if you're looking at your account, like, okay, everything looks good to me. And then your partner looks at account the next day and they might be like, oh, wait, did you buy anything from this store? I didn't buy anything. Now hey, somebody got your guys' information and they put some fraudulent charges. So then you can basically alert your bank and let them know. So that way you won't be left paying the bill and stuff like that. Okay. Now, what are some bad things that might happen if you have a joint account? Well, this actually happened like I want to say like 5 years ago or so. I was reading this article about how this boyfriend girlfriend opened a bank account together, and the girlfriend was doing illegal things. And I'm sure you guys know this, but if just in case you don't, the cops can trace money, and that's exactly what they did. They were tracing some money, and this girl, you basically used um, the account that her and her boyfriend shared, as kind of like a way to launder the money. And yeah, the cops arrested her, arrested him too, because they didn't know if he's part of this. They know she is for certain, but they know about him. And when they found out, did investigating, they found out, yeah, no, he doesn't know. This dude's good. He's clean. The thing is, they froze the assets of that account, and they couldn't say for sure, like, oh, was this just the money that she put in, or was this part of his? You know, they really couldn't say for certain because remember, when you take out money, it doesn't say, oh, it's his money or her money, it's their money. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. The other thing is unequal because chances are when you're with somebody, chances are you're not going to get paid both the exact same amount of money. One of you guys might be making a little bit more than the other. And let's say your partner makes $1,500 every 2 weeks, right? So $3,000 a month. Okay. But let's say they go shopping, they do all this stuff, buying all these things, and they end up running a bill of like $4,000. Well, they were only making $3,000 a month, and here they are spending $4,000 a month. This might make someone go, hey, 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 you're taking money from my account, from me. You spent all yours, and now you're taking from me. And that might cause some animosity and anger between the two. Okay. Now, this one, last one, I know for certain it has happened. They relationship ends, something happens. And one of the person who wants to break up, they could clear out the account and then say, hey, I'm done. We're breaking up. Oh, and I took all the money from our account. You know, I kid you not, that probably has happened several times in the history of man. Okay. Now, a co owner. Why would you need a co owner? Well, let's just say, for argument's sake, you have a kid and you want to start a bank account for them, get them started on some money, some of that, just in case. And well, the thing is, if they're under the age of 18, they can't open an account. So you can open the account under their name, you know. But the thing is, you would legally be responsible for whatever happened was on with that account. Okay, you would be responsible. Now, I've been saying this for years, guys. If you go into a bank to put your money in, right? First time you're in this bank, if you do not see any of these signs, you walk out of that bank quick, fast, and in a hurry. It needs to say either on the wall, by the teller, something. It has to say FDIC or NCUA. Okay. FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So if the bank you're at gets robbed, right? Robbers take all the money out of the safe and leave, you can still get your money. Your money is federally insured up to $250,000. Okay. Same thing with the NCUA. This is the National Credit Union Administration. Okay. So same thing there. If the bank is robbed, they um, you can still get your money. It's federally insured. But the thing is, this is why in some movies, when like a really rich person says like, oh, I'll pay you the ransom for my son, but it's going to take time to get this money from my accounts. Because the thing is, they can't put $1 million in this account, this one account, because if it gets robbed, the bank gets robbed, the government's only going to give them $250,000. They're not going to give them any more. That's why they open a lot of accounts at one bank, and then they go to another bank and open more accounts and things like that. You know, so that's why they say it's going to take some time to get that money out. Well, yeah, because they have to go to all these accounts, basically close them, and get all this money. Okay. Now, quick history on checks. Checks have been around since the days of the Romans. It's been a long time. But the paper printed checks, like the one you started at the very, very beginning, ones like those have only been used since the 1760s. So in the history of man, it's pretty new. Okay. Now, I've heard this from students in the past, and it just makes me laugh because they're like, Oh, checks, man. Who does that? That's like dinosaur people stuff, man. Because here's the thing, though, it does help you. Okay, it really can. So, like one of the things it does it saves you money. Because some businesses charge you a fee for using a credit card or debit card. You know, charge you an extra $4, $5, whatever it may be, to use your credit card or debit card. But if you write a check, you're good. They don't put an extra charge on checks. Okay. Now this thing actually did happen to me um, back in the day. Uh, in the city of Visalia, the electricity went out, and I had to pay the gas bill. Okay, so at that building, they basically told everyone, "Hey, you can't use your credit card, debit card, because there's no electricity. We're only taking checks and money orders." Problem is, money orders require electricity. So people who had money orders, they needed to get money orders. They had to go outside of town to these other places to get the money order. Those people with checks sign them, and here you go. And then these places, they stamp those checks on the day they get it. So places like this gas company couldn't say, "Oh, well, you guys didn't pay your bill to us on time." Yeah, we did. It says on the check right there, it's stamped that we gave you guys this money at this time, at this, on this date. So yeah. Another thing is some rental places, apartment complexes, landlords and some of that, they prefer checks or money order. Okay, no cash, no Venmo, no Apple Pay, none of that stuff you guys are used to. Okay, no, they want cash or money order. Problem is too, money orders sometimes they charge you an extra $2.50, $5 to make a money order, whereas checks there's no extra charge. Okay. Also, some places charge you if you use your credit card. They tell you you can't use your credit card unless you spend $30 at this at our place. You have to have a minimum payment of 25, $30, whatever it may be. So either you pay more, you know, or you're gonna get fined, you know. But a check, you won't get fined. They won't say there's a minimum payment. No, that's only for credit cards and things like that. The other good things about checks is they're traceable. If someone takes a check into a bank, the bank puts all the information when they got it, things like that. Um, if someone signed it, endorse it, they have to sign it on the back. The banks have security cameras, so they know who was there. You know, so okay, so it is traceable. Now, some of the don'ts to do for checks is number one thing, do not write a blank check. Don't just sign your signature at the bottom and say, here, I don't know how much you're going to charge, so just put whatever. Because the thing is, as you probably guessed, they could write down whatever number. They could put down, $1 million. They'll get their money, but you gotta have to pay for it. So the bank's gonna look at you going, "Hey, you only had 10,000 in your account. We took all that, and now you still owe 990,000." Now, I think as some student in the class started laughing when I said that, and I'm like, "That's no joke, guys. If somebody wrote a check out and you signed it on the bottom, you know, they're not gonna question it because you signed it. So to them, it's a legitimate check. So yeah, you're gonna be spending the rest of your life paying that back." Okay. So never write a blank check. Another thing, don't address the check to cash. So like when I told you guys to write it out to Big Bad Bubba Barbecue, um, that area, you should never put cash. Because if you put cash, then basically the company whoever you give the check to can say, "We never got it." And if you say, "Well, no, 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 somebody cashed in that check." Well, yeah, somebody did. Because a cash check, anyone can cash that in. Anybody. So companies can be like, well, we never got it. But if you write down, hey, this company, this and that, they have to, cash it in, things like that. Okay, they have to go to the bank and say, yeah, this is our deposit. Here's our stuff. Here's the money from our company. Okay, instead of just some random dude just walking in saying, I got this check, I want to cash it. Okay. The other thing is verifying your checks. So when you write a check, don't forget about it, because this happens to people quite a bit when they write checks. They forget, oh yeah, I wrote a check out for $500 to so and so, this company, whatever. And then they look at their bank account and be like, oh my God, I have like $1,000. So they spent $800 of it. And then all of a sudden, then that company says, oh yeah, we got this check. Let's cash it in. So now you're in the red. You're in the red. You owe $300. You spent 800, and $500 of those should have went to that company. You should have remembered, oh, they got that company still hasn't cashed that check in. So I really don't have $1,000. I only have $500. Okay. Another big one, don't lose your checks. And again, especially don't sign your name on the checks in the checkbook and like leave it around somewhere on your place, because people can take it and then again goes back to the blank check and write down whatever they want. The last one is kind of old school, but still it applies. Excuse me. Don't post date it. Okay, so like today is the 19th of March. Don't tell somebody, hey, don't, I'm writing the cash for the 26th, so next week. Don't cash in until then because I won't get paid. Okay, never do that. Okay, because legally speaking, if you give someone a check, you're basically telling them, I have money in my account. You can go ahead and take it out with this check. Okay, doesn't matter what date it's on, they can still cash it out. Okay, so that's this assignment, this worksheet. Now let's go to that check. All right, so you guys did the first attempt. Now let's look at the second attempt. Okay, let's see, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, so forgive me, I had to do a little editing. So on your second attempt, where you see that little orange arrow, you're gonna put today's date. Okay, so like right now it's 3/19. So for you it might be 3/20. It might be 3/21. Just depends on what day it is. Okay. Now the blue arrow on that part, you're going to be. That's where you're supposed to put Big Bad Bubba Barbecue. Okay. Now the dollar amount right there, where these little my little arrow thing is right here, the cursor, that's where you put the 87.67. Okay, that's where you put the money. Now this thicker black arrow, this is where you actually write out 87. You don't put the numbers, you spell it 87. Now here's the thing, guys, and I don't want to sound mean, I really don't, but it's imperative that you listen to me on this part. Make sure you know how to spell the words. There is no such word as fitty, hunnet. Okay, it's hundred. Okay, now I know you may think, well, that's the way I speak. Well, okay, fine, that's the way you speak, but that's not the correct way to write out the number. The other thing is, if you don't know how to write a number, you have a device in your hand or possibly in your pocket where you can use a voice activation and say the number and it'll spell it out for you. Okay? You guys should really know how to spell numbers by now. You guys should have been learning this back from like the second grade up. Okay? So do not write it phonetically. Don't be like, that sounds like this. Because some banks will not accept it. Some companies will not accept it. They are like, what does this say? You know, And then, especially when you have to make a payment on something, if they don't understand what it's saying on there, it's going to build interest. And you can't be like, well, it's not my fault you don't understand what I wrote. No, it's your fault that you didn't write it right. Okay? You can't use that as an excuse as, well, it's not my fault that you guys don't know this. It's not my fault you guys can't read my writing. No, it's your fault. It's not their fault. It's your fault. Okay? And this is where the real world kicks in and lets you know, hey, the world doesn't evolve around you. Okay? So spell right, get things right, or else you're going to suffer the consequences. And it's not going to be pretty. And you think I'm lying, you think I'm just talking old man talk. There's an old thing. Mess around and find out. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay. The last part of the check, that green section, that's where you sign your name. Here's the thing, guys. When it comes to your signature, it should not be in print. Okay. It should not be initials. Okay. Your signature should be able to write where nobody can, it'd be hard for somebody to forge it. Okay. So, like, I had a student put like JD. Who does not know how to write J and D and make it look just like theirs? You know, and do not just put lines like some people do, like doctors do, because the thing is, people can forge that. And if you just write like a zigzag line, somebody can forge your name saying, "Oh, that's the way they spell it." You know, so you got to be careful with that. Okay. So now that you know where each thing goes, on your second attempt, you're going to put the information again. This time, now that you know where it goes, write the check out correctly. Okay. If you still don't get it, you still haven't figured it out, if it's not done right, you have a third attempt to try to write it right. Okay. But by the third attempt, you should have it all done perfectly. Okay. So, also, make sure right here, right at the top of here, you put your name. Okay. So above this check thing right here, you want to put your name so that you can get credit for it. Okay. So turn in this check paper and your worksheet to get full credit. Okay. So with that being said, guys, hopefully you learned something new. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Um, so take care. You be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.